What's going on, guys? Dan here, DD Speed Shop. Back in the garage working on 55 Nomad. Whew! You know, a lot of people are calling this thing, it was pretty beat and now it's sweet. Beat to sweet, I dig it. Anyways, so we're working on this beater. We got the motor in, we got the brakes kind of plumbed, we got the fuel tank, and we got to do fuel system and all that sort of stuff, but I'm just not really feeling it. What I do want to do is, I've bought all sorts of parts. I got a steering column right here beside me, I got a wiring harness in the car, and I want to start putting those in, start putting the new stuff in. Well, I got to line my back and screw out the column, screw out the wiring. So I think what I want to do is, I also have a carpet kit for it. I got a bunch of the kill mat stuff to lay down, and then I want to put the carpet on top, and then I can start working whatever I want. So I'm not lying on junk. Now I know I'm jumping the gun a little bit. I still got welding to do, I still got fabrication, I still got sanding and all that, but you know what? The carpet's not getting screwed down. I can fold it up, I can take it out, I can vacuum it, I can do whatever I want to do. In the meantime, this is stuff we're using. So I use this on my 57 Chevy. This stuff is pretty cheap. I got it off Amazon. I paid for this. I didn't get it or nothing, but I do love it. So this is 50 square feet, 50 mil, and I had to buy a couple of tools separate. This is the big one. It's basically one I only really use. They have a little one for jabbing and stuff, but on the floor, I don't think I'm gonna end up using it. So this stuff just obviously kills the kind of tinniness and all that of a hot rod. And supposedly, I guess maybe it does a little bit for insulation, for cooling and heating, and those sort of things. But kind of irrelevant. This is what we're using. Stuff was cheap. I think it was 80 bucks Canadian. I got 2 packs of it, so I guess we'll see how much we use. I used 1 full pack in a 2-door sedan. I figured a wagon might be more. I've seam sealed the floor to the toe board. I don't know if I'm going to do the toe boards or not. I might just do the actual floor itself. I'm going to do the sides. I'm going to do the package area and all that as well. So, like I said, I seam sealed the front. I'm going to get to, once I start working here, I'm going to seam seal the back, and I'm going to do on the 2 patch panels, get that all seam sealed, and kind of carry on. That will take a day to kind of set up. I thought tonight, I've already been working, I'm just going to go ahead and get the floor itself done, and then I think that's where I'm going to leave it for tonight. And then tomorrow we can finish off the cargo area maybe, and start working on, I don't know, maybe put the steering column in, at least take the wiring out, put the floor in or the carpet in, make it look nice. I got some bucket seats I want to set in there, you know, ratchet shifter, the whole deal. I know it's not maybe for everybody, but it's what's going to work for me. And that's pretty simple. So, I've cleaned the floor up, and we're ready to start jamming. I'll set the camera up, but it's very, very simple. Clean floor, peel the back off, put it down, run the roller over it, you know, zing zang zoom, get in the middle, get all the little kind of curves and whatnot in there, and it's fine. It's not going to come off. I did the whole ceiling, roof, on the 57, and it's been sitting outside in the winter and it hasn't fallen off yet, so it she sticks pretty good. So we get that jammed together. This is going to be a pretty time-consuming project, and really pretty boring. The only thing I'm going to watch, you know, watch around the bolts. You got to get to those. I'll probably, you know, I have overlaid it. I'll probably do the same thing. Like here, I'll just put a whole other piece right on and kind of carry on. Again, I don't know if I'm going to go right into these little crevices or just do the floor itself. But anything is better than nothing. And yeah, let's get after it. What an absolute job. So I filmed this section and then I kind of laced out because the back was just more of the same. I didn't do, like I said, then the wheel tubs on both sides because they still need a little bit of welding. And yeah, that's about that. I didn't do the back body bolts. I go around that, I guess, later on. I ended up doing the whole cargo area. The black corners I didn't do because there's just a little bit of rust repair. I'd like to put a little seam sealer in there too. And I didn't do the wheel tub. I did all the way around it. Cut out the shock towers. Went up on the side of the tubs. I think it turned out pretty good. So this, I used one full box and then maybe 3 or 4 sheets. So I don't know. It's let's say it's like 120 bucks or so worth of stuff to do this, and it does make a difference. Like I put it in my other car and it really quieted the thing down. I probably will do the doors as well, but that's after the fact. I did on the inside, so you put the piece in, you kind of do whatever you gotta do. But I'm thinking these doors may need a little bit of body work and welding, especially on that one. So there's no point doing that just yet, but that's where I'm leaving it. It's probably about 11 o'clock this took. Well, it took a little bit of time. It was very boring, very tedious. I mean, running a 2-inch roller over every square inch of the inside of the car, let's be honest, that takes time. So that's where we're gonna leave it tomorrow. I think I'll lay down the carpet, just have something nice to lie on. And then we'll start yarding out all the wiring and maybe fit up the steering column. Well, this one has none of the guts, of course. So I'll have to figure some way up to hold the column and make sure it's straight. And what I bought was this. It's like a double D. Oh, this is the right one. I hope it is. Definitely not, but we'll make it work. A little bit of grinding. So I'll end up slicing the column and you kind of put it wherever you want. So I'll measure that one for reference and carry on. And then, yeah, we'll put that in. The proper steering column, proper brakes, all sorts of stuff. Maybe just bolt one seat in there just so I can make revving noises. Hook gas pedal up. Be driving by the weekend. See you tomorrow. Next day. I didn't do anything because last night I gave her and then I went to work today. And, well, I didn't clean up or nothing. But I did pull the carpet out. And so this is another one. I was talking on, I think, the last video about the fuel tank off from Rock Auto. This carpet kit, which is an ACC carpet kit. Same thing. I bought this exact same part number from like classic whatever, like, you know, suppliers, and it's way more money. I think this kit was, it was $199, and then shipping's always a pain, but still I think it's like 400 bucks. Carpet interior right now is ludicrous. Doesn't even make sense. So everyone will think Rock Auto for keeping their pricing, you know, whatever, equal. And also, I'm giving you guys all these secrets where I get all my stuff. Don't go buying all the stuff up that I need, because that's a hassle. Anyway, so I'm just gonna toss the carpet in there so I have something nice to lie on. It will be too wide, so like the doors will kind of, you know, bunch up in the doors, but that's fine. We got to roll it over when we do sanding and welding and stuff like that, because the jambs still need love and all that. We'll rip all the wiring out of it, and then I'm a bit of an idiot. So I bought this coupler for the steering, and I ordered the wrong one. This is a 3/4 inch spline, and I was going to get a 3/4 inch D, so go 1 inch to 3/4 inch double D. And he just kind of notched the column, whatever you want to call it there. The shaft, steering shaft. Whew, just got off work. But that's clearly a pain. And these were like a couple week wait away, and they're not cheap. So by the time you send it back, screw around, we don't have time for that. So I think what I'll probably do is auger out the splines and lightly grind the shaft and see if I can make it kind of close. I mean, I'm going to weld it on anyways. I never used, like, it has a little, you know, tighten up thing. I never use those. I always weld them. So as long as you make it on there somewhat straight so it's not wobbling, and then this will fit directly onto the shaft. The new steering column, I should say, in that box. So all I'll do is I'll measure from the end to wherever I want to be, and we'll put it in the exact stock location. There is no hardware to hold it, so I'll have to make something. I used the exhaust clamp and stuff like that in the other car, but yeah, should be a good one. So I'm just gonna get this carpet laid in there, and then we'll start peeling all this old wiring out. And actually, this thing's very complete. It's got the washer, it had the headlight switch hanging down, it has the ignition switch, and it's unlocked, which is nice. We can actually change that. Has a heater control, like the fan switch and all that. It is missing a cluster. I think I have one downstairs. It's got the radio and everything. The only thing we're missing is the lighter. Yeah, look, it's got the e-brake stuff. It's got all the vent controls. Has all the brake control, like the pedals, clutch, the whole deal. I have the glove box door. Has the clock. I mean, it's rough and shitty, but it's all there. Okay, cleaned up a little bit. We got the carpet in. Just sitting there. So I mean, obviously nothing is permanent, but it'll cover a fair bit. It does end under where the back seat would be, which is kind of unfortunate in this situation. We have no back seat, but so be it. So we'll figure something on the back. It's just nice to lie on, needs trimming, all that sort of stuff. Here is the column I got from, I think this one came off eBay. Might have been Amazon, I'm not too sure. It's got some sort of goofy connector on. I think that just comes off and you can run a standard steering wheel. It looks like this comes with stuff, hardware. You actually screw the steering wheel to that, so this whole thing turns. Otherwise, it's all cheapo, just your generic stuff. It does have your standard Chevy connection, which is nice, and the wiring harness I got, I believe, has this connector for all your signals and brake lights, so that's nice and easy. And then I took the U-joint and I just die-ground, see in there, all the splines out, and I use my little measuring tool, and it's close-ish. We'll see. This might have to be opened up a little bit, or that might have to be ground down a little bit, and then we'll, you know, give it a nice bevel, and then we'll just weld this directly in. And this has a piece that goes all the way through, and then an anchor on the bottom of the column itself, right there. So now what we got to do, we have to measure from there to the tip right there of the stud. Oh. And whatever that measurement is, we have to measure from the tip of the stud down the shaft and then cut it. Well, I guess we'll have to actually add in the length of this. So we'll have to measure it like that, wherever this is going to be on the tool or on the column. So I'll get that set on there. So from there to there, get that measurement and then zip it off. And on the past few cars I've done, it ends up to be kind of like here-ish type thing. And that will leave the column in the exact factory location. And that works fine for me. I don't think being closer has any real benefit. This is a tilt column. I don't mind it. I have long legs, so I actually like kind of being further away, so I put the seat back and it works out okay for myself. And I'm building it for me, so that's the way I'm going to do it. So we'll get this measured up, get it chopped out, and then probably, like I said, I'll take the wiring out. Then we can start mounting this stuff in. Okay, Cole's notes, what we're doing here. So we'll measure from the edge, which I have bolted on. Whoops. And this is down from 3/4 of an inch is where the stud is. So we're talking like 34 1/4-ish. Yeah, 34 1/4. And then this here, you want a fair bit of that on the shaft. So that is 3/4 of an inch. So if we take, what was my measurement again? 34 1/4 minus 3/4 is 33 1/2. Hopefully I'm doing this math right. And then I just shove this tape measure up here. Might be hard to do two-handed or one-handed. So I wrapped it around the end there. And then, well, we're actually pretty close. But this mark right here ended up being 33 1/2. So I should be able to slice it right there, and then the U-joint will kind of fit down to about there-ish. Clean it up real nice, weld it on, and the column should be in the factory location. We can give this another eyeball measurement just to check our work after the fact. We wrap it on the back there. We're, call it, whoops, 12 1/2-ish. Now that's all, of course, miscellaneous measurements, but if we can accomplish that, we'll be in the factory location. So I'm going to zip that off real quick, and then I'll just place this on. We'll tie it up with like a bungee or something. See, this has all the structure in it because it's just a shaft going in. We're now going to replace it with the U-joint, so it'll be floppy, and we'll figure out a way to attach it up in there, but we're smart. We'll figure that out. Piece cut off. We got her kind of cleaned up, shined up, but this fits on now. And so now, that's good. We're gonna, weld it all around, and you gotta make sure you're somewhat straight. The other thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna mark a little hole in the shaft where this is. I think it's just a 1/4-inch bolt. We'll drill a hole. We won't go very deep in, just maybe 1/4 inch in or so, kind of a bigger hole. We'll put this on. We'll run a bolt in there, and it'll be snug. So if the welds ever break or anything like that, it's like a secondary kind of shear. It'll be loose, but you won't ever lose steering. And this will be on there. The column will be on that side, holding it down. So this will never be able to come off, anyways. But in theory, I mean, if anything breaks, it could just spin like that, which would be no bueno. So we'll use that little threaded doohickey and just add all the safety. But I think that's a job for when we actually install the column. Right now we gotta rip all the wiring out. That's fun. So this is the amount of wiring that was left in the old girl. That's the old fuse panel and headlight switch and some miscellaneous junk. Probably keep the headlight switch. It's missing the pull. These Tri-5s, a lot does run through the ignition switch. So there's some stuff there, but I just snipped all the wires. I put the column in temporarily. It's supposed to have a bracket down here, which I didn't have, so I welded a 2-inch muffler clamp, which works fine. I'll zip the ends off, and there's a chrome piece. Well, I don't have any of this stuff, obviously, but we'll go around and hide it. Or a 4-door parts car, which I'm sure once I get a little closer to the car being more done, I left all the proper mounts there. That's zip cut it off, put a proper one and take care of it. Down here, there's another piece, which again I don't have, which is supposed to bolt here and it clamps the column from going side to side. We don't really have enough room, which I ran into this on, maybe in the wagon, I forget whatever I put a thing on. Anyways, I made another bracket that went on the backside and clamped around, but for right now, it holds it. It's sitting on there. I do have the bolt kind of tight. I'll just reach the access point, but it turns. And the big thing I want to make sure here is it's not all kind of out of whack. If you put this on kind of wobbled, it'll have a whoop, 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 and it puts pressure on the box and all those sort of things. So we're pretty close here. So I think what I'm going to do is put a tack weld on and then kind of work your way, do all kind of 4 crosses, because as you weld, you're going to pull it one way or the other. So get it kind of close, and then I'll burn it in. Should be pretty simple. I do have to actually take this apart, clean that and all that, because it's just tested together. But it works, there's no issues there. So I got the kind of goofy piece off and just got a regular Chevy wheel on it, which looks ridiculous on this. I'll need some sort of cover and stuff, but well, I guess it's broken. I smashed it with a hammer. Maybe it's my problem. Yeah, so that's that. Wiring harness right up there. So I think what we're going to do, I'll finish welding in the column, so it'll be done. Other than we'll need one bracket at the firewall, but you know what, for what we're doing here, it's fine. It's test fit into place. Then we'll just lay the wiring out, which is always fun. Look at this, I was even covering the motor with my jacket, because I care about this one. Keeping all the sparks out of it. I'll get this cleaned up, we'll get her buzzed in, lay the wiring out, and call her a day. Got her all together, so I really wicked the welder up there. We wanted good bite on it, worked pretty good, so we put the 2 set screws in there. Those get tightened up with an Allen key, then they have these nuts on them as locks. That, you know what I'll probably do actually? I'll peel that out, shorten it, I'll put a nut on it, and then I'll tighten it up, and then run the nut down like a jam nut. So, I mean, that's double safe. You see there's no real binding in the U-joint, doesn't do a whole lot of nothing. The only thing is we do have some play down here, very minimal, but that will need some sort of brace to the firewall. These Tri-5s, I kind of hate them. Like, it's got this ginormous steering box. There's a lot of leverage right here in the box, so you really want to make sure you have that anchored down. We'll get to that. But otherwise, moves smoothly. The column doesn't walk back and forth or nothing. So if the U-joint was out of whack, the column would be doing all sorts of funky things. But works good. We got crank to crank. Yeah, I'll probably zip off these just so I don't knock my head into them. And otherwise, we'll get the junk cleaned out of here. I got the horn button and stuff like that. I'll probably put everything on the column real quick. The column's not clocked properly. There's a lot of screwing around we gotta do, but put the signals and all that stuff in there, or at the very least, put it somewhere we'll never ever forget. I'll do it on camera so I don't forget if I don't put them on. And then, yeah, we'll lay the wiring out and start dealing with that tomorrow. Back in the car. Huh? Tilt? Ooh. Look at that. So fancy. So we got that. This is the wiring harness. I always get a little cheapo off Amazon, 12 circuit. I think they're now like 180 bucks. Inflation's killing us. They do sell a 21 circuit as well, so the 12 circuit's pretty bare bones. The 21 circuit will control power windows, power locks, air conditioning, fancy stereo, pick whatever else you want. For my junk, this is LATs. It comes kind of pre-packaged into 4 distinct loops, and they're all pretty simple. This is essentially going to go under or through the firewall. It'll control the engine, charge wires, and signals and lights in the front. This one right here, it's actually not that many wires, but there's a lot of them, or it's very long, I should say. So this is going to go to the back, so it'll be tail lights, license plate lights, turn signals. This will be your ignition source, stuff like that, basically under the dash. And this is kind of going to be everything else, radio, windshield wipers, power antenna, stuff like that. This thing also comes pre-wired for gauges, for digital gauges. So if you would have had a digital gauge cluster, you'd have the sender on the motor and stuff. So like temp, oil pressure, volts, all those things, it's in there. So I just snipped those out because I'll probably run a set of old school 3-pod mechanical gauges because I like them. So we'll set the camera up real quick and I will get this snipped up. I will cut out some wires right away, power antenna, all the gauge stuff, kind of junk like that I'm just not going to use. I used to keep them bundled up under the dash, but it just becomes a mess. I'm never going to use them, and if I ever decide to, I'll just run a new wire. It's just that easy. This kit does have, so it's all, you know, it's got standard speed fuses and 2 flashers, so it's got signal and 4-way, which this column has 4-way. So that's it. It's pretty simple. Yeah. Let's get to it. Oh, and in this bag, I guess I should show this. In this bag, it includes these 2 connectors here, which are for the headlights, which are brand new. And I think I've done this. I believe it's this right here. But that connector will join to the, oh, I've clamped it up. Oh, no. To the connector here for your signals. So it's meant for your standard GM stuff right out of the box, and it is very simple. The wiring could be thicker gauge, I guess, but hey, it's not a painless, it's not an American Auto wire, it's a Amazon special. Wired, 1 minute. Wiring's always a pain in the ass, but it's the way it goes. All these new kits, I assume anyways, this one did. Some of the real cheap ones, I was looking, they don't have as many like options, like with flashers and all that, and horn and whatever. This has everything. And this one, Each wire is, you can see, I think it's written on there, if that shows up. That's the exciter wire for the alternator. So it's everything that runs through, so ran through the firewall. I just looped it around. It's tedious, but I mean, you'll be able to figure it out. Alternator, and then obviously the headlights and the turn signals and the running lights and the wipers and the fan and all, whatever it may be under the hood on your car. Could be on the inside or wherever it may be. So that's done. That's pretty simple. Inside the car, I ran the stuff to the back, put it under the carpet just so it's kind of there, and then it's just sprawled there. Man, people lose their mind when I don't wrap these wires in some sort of protective coating and stuff. A lot of cars never had that, these old ones, and people are scared it's going to cause a fire. Everything's fused. I don't know how it could cause a fire, but hey, if it burns to the ground, she's insured. And then up here, this is where it gets convoluted and a bunch of junk. So these here, all these wires, these will fit into that. They'll snap in, and then this will fit on that, and that'll give you all your turn signals and all that sort of stuff. So as you guys I'm sure know, the tail lights, like the brake lights, everything runs to the turn signal, because if you have your front of the brake but you have the turn signal on, you want the turn signal to supersede the brake light. So everything has to run through the signal switch. So that's all that, and then these heavier wires will be all your ignition stuff. So it'll have switch 12, constant 12. It'll have, I think, power to the coil runs out of here, and obviously the power to the starter to throw it. Little horn relay thing. So that's all that stuff. Everything that came through here, this will be whatever runs on the gauge cluster. So the signal indicators, illuminance, gauge power, fuel gauge, I don't know, high-low beam indicator, I don't know what else said there, but that's that. And then this will be everything that's left. So this will be your headlights, the high-low beam switch, miscellaneous power for radio. These two here are your brake light power in and out. The fan switches, sorry, the fan switches in here. I don't know, maybe heater control, power. That's kind of the miscellaneous one. That's just kind of is what it is. But yeah, there you go. So it's all kind of run. That's where I'm going to leave it. We got the interior kind of started. Everything's laid out. Tomorrow I'll start a new video, and we'll actually start probably terminating some of these things. I'll see if I can find some taillight stuff and all that. Get it all kind of where I want it. Some bulbs and whatever. I would like to start fitting taillights and stuff. Just make sure everything fits around the body. And yeah, I guess I gotta hang the front clip because it does need some rust repair. So we'll see. I don't know whether we actually carry out the wiring or not. I said I will, but hey, I might change my mind tomorrow. We'll get it all together. But we're yet another step closer. I mean, now the thing's got the wiring, we could fire this thing up, which I really do want to do. This weekend though, coming up, I got a lot of things that haven't been finished off. The fuel line, the rear brake line. We got a lot of stuff starting to pile up that need to be finished. So I do have a list, but I gotta hit a bunch of parts stores. You know, get one tube nut for a 1/4 inch brake line. You know, like stupid stuff like that. It's just so time consuming that after work I just come home and jam. That's all I want to do. But yeah, maybe we'll finish at the front end here, put the shocks in, battery tray and all that sort of stuff, put the front clip on, start doing some rust repair. I'm not too sure. I'll think about it. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and thanks for watching. As always, leave a comment, like the video, all those good things, and have a great day.